B.E.A. family, how is everybody doing? How are you all? Today's topic, I wanted to share some insight that I had received from a podcast that I really enjoyed listening to. I actually listened to it probably 3 times now in a matter of a week or so. It is from my favorite football coach, my favorite American football coach, NFL, Mike Tomlin. He is the Pittsburgh Steelers coach. I'm actually going to put the video of the podcast in the description if anybody wants to hear of it. But he was just having a great conversation with the hosts of the podcast. The podcast is called Pivot Podcast, Pivot. I do know that Fred Taylor is one of the hosts. Jacksonville Jaguars, if you did not know, I'm a big fan. And Fred Taylor is one of the best Jaguars ever. So that's also a reason why I do like to listen to the podcast. But this specific episode really stood out to me because I just love the way Mike Tomlin goes about his business. I love the way that he handles himself as a man, as a coach, as a representative of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I got to learn more about him through that interview about an hour long or so, a little bit more than an hour, and the things that he said and the way that he was answering to these questions that he was getting, it was just incredible to me. His work ethic, his drive, and his mindset. So the host was basically asking him with his resume that Mike Tomlin has. If you did not know, he is one of the best coaches in the league to this day. The third best record amongst active coaches right now, if I'm not mistaken, because Belichick is over him and Andy Reid. He's there. He's younger than both, less experienced than both of them in the league. So whatever, take that for what you want. But he's just such a great role model and coach overall. So they were bragging about his resume to him, saying, you know, you're doing this so well each season. You never had a losing record. He's been in the league since 2007. It's 2022, 14 years in the season. This man has never once led his team to a losing record by the end of the year. I think 2 or 3 times they were 500, 8-8. That's not a losing record. So his resume speaks for itself, right? But ultimately the hosts were asking him questions as, you know, like, do you ever just think about your past achievements and are you proud of them? And basically he admitted that, it's an achievement nonetheless, but he doesn't stay focused on it because it's no longer here. And obviously, those past achievements, not saying that they aren't as glorified, but the job that he has to do today does not have anything to do with his previous achievements, unless you are looking back at that and comparing it to the now, because you obviously did something correct when you won championships or when you did so well as a team, so maybe you want to feed off of that. But basically, he doesn't look back, is what I'm trying to say, unless it's to help him in a way or to gain knowledge from a past experience, is what he was saying throughout the podcast. And he says that he does not seek comfort in any way. That is a strategy, a mental strategy that he has used year after year in the league, and obviously it has helped, right? He does not seek comfort, and he gave an example of if he coaches a bad game or his team plays very poorly, he'll go home and his loved ones will say, hey, Mike, it was all right, let it slide, it's one game, it's okay, you did that right, or look at your resume, people say, right? I'm sure they tell him these things, oh, you're a great coach, blah, 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 but he's just upset because in that exact situation, what he wanted did not come to fruition, right? He did not win, or his team ultimately did not win in that moment. And the demeanor and character that you can get from this man, Mike Tomlin, from this podcast alone, you can see how selfless of a man he is, how selfless of a coach he is. He truly goes out of his way to, you would think that I'm getting sponsored by this damn guy or something, or this video, or the Pivot podcast, how much I'm bragging about him, but that's how much I love him. Truly, I really love this guy's character so much. Since he came in the league, he's always stood out to me. And another question from a host, they were saying how he gets to understand his players more. He gets to the facilities early every single day, and he waits to feel the vibe of the players as they come in. And then he goes off of that to think on how he is going to coach that specific player that day. Think about what I just said. I don't know if you just grabbed that, okay? There's 52 people on a damn roster in football, in NFL. He gets there early enough to basically, even if it's just a slow encounter, a quick encounter, he wants to read the energy of the room, of the players that are walking in to do their job. He wants to see if they're ready, if they're mentally prepared, what's going on in their life. It's not just coaching. He doesn't just want to put them out on the field and win. Okay, he wants them to win outside of sports. And that is the beauty of being a role model, being a leader. Me as a physical educator and a health teacher, I don't consider myself just a teacher. I want to be much more to that, to these kids. I don't want to just be an educator, right? I want to be anything that they might need me to be for them, so that way they can live a happier and better life. That's the approach that I want to take. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about Tomlin, because I feel like he has such a similar approach. And it's just such a great example of a true leader and leadership, ultimately. So I can go on and on about the guy, as I'm sure you can tell in these about 5.5 minutes or so, but he's just truly inspirational to me. I will put that video of the podcast in the link below. If you want to watch it, feel free to go ahead. Let me know your favorite podcast. If you guys or girls are interested in podcasts, let me know what you like, what you enjoy. Put it in the comment box below. And I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit of what I enjoyed listening to these past few weeks. So, believe, excel, achieve, y'all. Till next time, keep climbing.